exam level, do you have a survivor's guilt?
I think the exam itself is very ruthless in nature.
The most basic question being, bahut ghanta porhila ne?
8-10 hours of work I have been putting at least for 3.5 years.
Do you think people also attempt the UPSC examinations or government examinations with the idea that, next 30-40 years I will have a comfortable, cushy job?
I think there will always be some minuscule amount of people who will think like that.
What's your favorite club?
I have been a Liverpool fan for long.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
The UPSC Civil Service Examination is considered one of India's most competitive examinations, one of the most difficult to crack. On clearing it, it comes with its own prestige, pride, and izzat. On that very note, my guest for today's show is Abhijnan Hazarika. Abhijnan has cleared the UPSC Civil Service Examinations with an All India rank of 172 among lakhs of aspirants. That in itself is a wonderful achievement, and we're very happy to have him here as he talks to you and me about his journey of cracking the examinations, what keeps him motivated, what keeps him driven, and what lies ahead in the future for him. Let's go. Abhijnan, good evening. Welcome to the show. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you, and as we get started with the conversation, I would love it if you could tell our audience and viewers today your Guwahati connection.
If I talk about Guwahati Connection, initially before 2011, the connection would have been mostly by periodical visits or sometimes for some work I came to Guwahati. But since 2011, when I did my higher secondary in Srimanta Shankar Academy, Dispur, I have been largely been living in Guwahati. My family has been settled in Guwahati. So I think for the last 12 years, I have been, I can say that I am a resident of Guwahati. Although due to my studies or my job that I used to do earlier, I used to travel at different places. But largely my identity has been of a Guwahatian.
How do you understand the identity of a Guwahatian? A Guwahatian identity to ki bostu hai?
I think the lifestyle may be a bit different from a comparatively rural place or like Dergaon where I belong. So I think the culture here is a bit like a city. Comparatively, I think the hotels or the restaurants or the people or the entire aura of the city is comparatively different from under background. So I think that is the main identity.
All right. Okay. So now coming to the very big question, how has life been different since your results for clearing the UPSC have been announced? Life to quote aru kenekwa change hoy gol?
I think it has changed drastically, but now like since on 16th the result came out, 16th April. So since then I have not got enough time to sit back and think. So first of all I need to relook after some time, but definitely it has changed drastically because the amount of love and affection that I have been getting from people right from my village in Dergaon or in Guwahati or in places where I've been working like the Directorate of Accounts and Treasuries where I've been undergoing training. So it has changed completely. So I believe whatever love, respect I have received over these 10 days and in future, I think it would be fine if I can pay back something.
So you mentioned that you're currently working in the Treasuries Department, and you've done engineering. From what I understand, you have now you've already cracked the state civil service examinations and then now UPSC. Did you plan this progression or do you think it was a natural progression?
No, actually most things have been in life, it had come naturally. When I did my engineering from NIT Silchar, I was an electrical engineer and I passed in 2017. So just after passing in campus, I got Power Grid Corporation of India Limited as an engineer, which was coming from an electrical background, which was a really good job. So then I had not thought about preparing. So first point is that only after 2019, I think around, I thought like it is the right time to prepare. And also because I had started preparation late, because I had already been around 25, 26. So I thought that I would give UPSC like 2-3 times well. But at the back of the mind, I always had to have a backup plan. So I always felt that if I could not clear the UPSC examination, then I had to go for APSC. So like 2000, this time I got through and got Assam Finance Service. Before that also I had given once and got sub-registrar position I had got. But then that I did not join because I was caught in a dilemma, like whether to go for UPSC another time before joining any service or to like join and prepare. So I believe at that moment it was the right decision because I got enough time. And this time, since I had already prepared for around 3 years, so I thought maybe if I had to give another time, then I would be able to prepare along with the exam. So I think rather than being planned, everything like panned out the way it was planned by God.
Now you've had a substantial experience and exposure to the government machinery and institution. Now I want to understand from you your definition of an ideal civil servant. I don't know, it was really, if they asked you in the panel discussion, in the panel interview, but how do you see an ideal civil servant? Do you have someone that you look up to?
Although I have not been much involved in the like government circle for long because I joined like 2 months back, but generally of what I know of my limited knowledge, if I had to say something about an ideal civil servant, I think he should be someone, first of all, who should be approachable, as because it is a responsibility as a public servant to first of all listen to the people. That would be my first point. And if I can think further, within the laws, whatever we can do to maximize the satisfaction of the people, that would be one. And along with it, if we can maintain our integrity within the government circle, I think we would make a good civil servant. And courage is another point that also needs to be seen, as because sometimes the civil servants face difficult situations. So to be steady in one's viewpoint, I think that is also required.
Do you think it's tough to be a civil servant with all the political and the public pressure that always comes in?
First of all, that I cannot say from experience as of now, but I think the job, whatever I have heard or whatever my seniors or colleagues, whoever has told me, I think there is some amount of stress or some amount of pressure that is always there. That would be always be present in a job which has to do with the public, any kind of job. So I think all those would be there. But if we stand with the right and if we are ourselves integral enough, I think those can be countered in the long run.
What do you think as a civil servant you will be able to achieve that you would not have been able to if you were in another profession?
Actually, my calling for the civil services mainly came from that, because when I was working in Power Grid, it was also a really good service of whatever I felt, and that was also necessary. But I felt at that time, if I remain in such a core sector, I would not be able to work closely with the people, because although the influence I would be able to make to the society, I felt would be very indirect in nature, and the reach that I can achieve by being there would be comparatively much lesser. So I felt civil services was a way in which I can contribute more directly to the society and maybe give back more to the society than I would have been earlier.
Kiba eneko instance asil niki which prompted this thought that you were at office sometime and some incident happened and
Enekwa incident one I have I cannot think of any such incident. The only drive was that I felt I would be remaining at more isolated places, because I was at Dimapur at that time for 3 years, and generally when I was working at PGCIL, so they had substations mostly at like places which are comparatively interior and where the public connect was not there. The main drive was that because I generally like talking with people or connecting with people. I think that was the main drive. But any such specific incident I cannot recall.
Do you think people also attempt the UPSC examinations or government examinations with the idea যে এই 4 বছৰ এক্সামৰ কাৰণে কষ্ট কৰি প্ৰিপেয়াৰ কৰোঁ 3 বছৰ কৰোঁ 2 years কৰোঁ whatever duration and then eventually next 30-40 years I will have a comfortable cushy job, a nice bureaucratic position, and I will have a comfortable life. Do you think people also get in the service for that?
I think there will always be some minuscule amount of people who will think like that. Tenekwa amar hoyto amiu keteba paisu. We have also seen people sometimes like that. But generally, I feel the younger generation that is coming up, whatever I have interacted with people that have cracked the exam or who are preparing diligently, mostly they have a sense of public service. I think earlier also there were many good people who were serving the society, but with time I believe the percentage of people that will work sincerely for the society will increase as time passes on.
And by any chance, do you think that Ohomot public service government examinations are all of basi importance diya hoy? Do you think that the weightage to get a government job, and if you don't have a government job, you are not relevant enough in the society? Do you think that pressure is very high in Assam?
I think generally, I would not say particularly Assam. I would say generally all over India, and mostly North India, because I comparatively have a lesser idea of how the Southern India feels about it. But whatever I have seen people, in Northern India generally completely belt, there is a perception. But that is not like concrete enough also at times, because when I was studying in NIT Silchar, and when I look back at some of my friends who were quite good in their studies and quite intelligent, many of them have like traveled to cities like Pune or Bangalore, or even many nowadays go to the US or Europe. So I think there is a perception that the government services should be chased or we should prepare. But I think it has come down a bit, rather than the earlier whatever it was like only the government exam, like government services were there. Nowadays, I think it has a little bit slowed down.
Now I want to understand a little bit about your study routine, because I know for a fact there are a lot of people watching this. They will want to get inspired by the way you have studied, prepared, and how you have handled the examinations. The most basic question being, bahut ghanta padhila ne? Was it a lot of preparation? I understand it was your 4th attempt?
Yes.
All right. So for that, do you think you put in a countless number of hours to study? What was your study routine like?
It would be difficult to say like particular some hours, but my aim had been like one attempt when I started off like very casually. Some of my friends had told me, let's give the exam once. So in 2019, that thing was that at that time I had not prepared for the exam. I had bought some books, but I had not started. So that was something just for experience I gave. And when I started off in 2020 June, my main aim was to like study like in a continuous stretch. So like continuous stretch, I mean that like I generally did not have many off days in between. And if I can count the hours, it would be difficult. But generally saying like 8-10 hours I used to study. Sometimes it might be a bit less, sometimes maybe a bit more. But like since 2020 June, I have been, it would be right to say that I have been largely been studying. So I used to travel sometimes like in 6 months once for 5-6 days or roughly like that. But generally like 8-10 days of 8-10 hours of work I have been putting at least for 3.5 years. So, and it has been a learning process also, because when I started off, I did not have much idea about the exam. I had not many friends who had prepared for UPSC, and so initially it took me some time to understand the exam. But yes, I think hard work is the only key to this exam, I believe.
Tell us about the interview panel. From a little bit of research that we have, you were asked to sing a Bhupen Hazarika song. So tell us about the interview panel. Jitya, when you sit in front of a panel, is it hard? Everyone's focused, asking you critical questions, easy questions. What do they ask? How is the panel like?
Generally, the experience is different from person to person, because like this time they had around 9 panels, I believe. So like some days, every day 4 to 5 panels used to sit, and it used to change from like week to week. So first of all, when I entered into the UPSC Bhavan, it is at Dholpur House at Delhi. So when I was first allotted the panel, I was sitting around 6 people were there. So first thing I came to my mind was one guy was from IIT Bombay, another guy was already in Indian Police Service. So first thing I felt initially that maybe I am a little comparatively less intelligent, or maybe a little they are probably maybe a little bit better. So first thing I felt that, but I calmed down after that. And when I entered, the panel was Honorable Dinesh Dasa sir. He had earlier been the chairman of Gujarat Public Service Commission, and there were 5 people sitting there. Around a round table was there, and he started off I was not expecting. I was expecting questions on Bhupen Hazarika because my title is also Hazarika and I belong to Assam. So they were sitting around, and there was suddenly there was no introduction. And when even I was sitting, he was you will definitely know Bhupen Hazarika. So can you give me the Assamese translation of Ganga Behti Ho Kyun? At that time, I could not recall exactly, and I was a little bit concerned. Maybe if I make a mistake, my integrity may be questioned. So although it is like Bistirna Parare, I did not sing it. And I told that, sir, I cannot recall at this moment. And second, they asked me to sing one Bhupen Hazarika song. Generally, I do not sing well at all. But at that moment, I felt I had to sing it. So I had hummed a few lines of Manhoe Manhoar Babe. And then he had asked me also to explain the meaning of that song. So, and then gradually the questions came in around 30 minutes, 30 minutes they had asked me. And there were numerous questions around music, around football and all those they had asked.
But a difficult, daunting experience, or everyone should get this chance when panel bole.
Once when I entered initially, maybe I was a bit nervous, but the experience was very nice only. The panel was cordial, and they had asked me many questions, but generally they had not cross-questioned me too much. If I give an example, I had an application form. We used to fill an application form. So they had asked, I used to play football. So they had asked me something why football is developed in Kerala, Goa only. And then they had another question they had asked. Then they had shifted to history, which is my optional. So they had asked something about why China is able to better conserve their culture, some kind of questions like that. And then they had also questioned me on power grid and state grids, because that was my job experience. So it was a mixed experience. Other 1-2 members were grilling me on some particular questions, but I think it is a once in a lifetime experience. So as an aspirant, when I've been preparing, so it was a good experience. And whatever I did not score too well in interview, that is something that I am little bit dissatisfied. But overall, I think it was a very nice experience.
Now, education, UPSC, this has largely become very structured, and there are TV series being made, and there is also a lot of institutions that have opened up, and 100% clearance rate, XYZ. This has become a little more institutionalized, I would say, the education behind UPSC. Do you think that this model of all the coaching education systems that have come in, they help students? Do you think it is always depending on self-study? What is your take on the coaching institution mechanism for UPSC?
Largely, if I have to share my personal experience, I have been a bit far away from the institutionalized system, because I have been preparing from Guwahati for last 3 years. And I just went to Delhi for around January this year, because regarding mock interviews is concerned, the last stage, there is no scope of preparation here. So I think that is very essential there, because there is always a fear of people coming from Assam or different other backward areas who feel a bit difficult to face such interviews. So I think that is helpful. And generally, coaching industry, it helps us in a way, because when I first started off, I had no idea about the exam. So initially, I got a direction. I had taken a online coaching from Guwahati itself, Vision IS. So initially it gave me a direction as to how to start off. So I think that was essential at that point of time, as because or else I would have moved helter skelter here and there. And then we generally, like, I have not taken too many courses or foundation after that, but generally test series or for our practice when we apply, I think that is useful. The completely structured approach that they have made now, I think, is a bit more commercial, but at times it has been very useful as well. So I think it has been a mixed experience.
So you would recommend, it's a very, very straight question, would you recommend that someone should move to, old Mukherji Nagar or Rajendra Nagar once in their life if they are an aspirant? Delhi go ebar preparation, or to meet with different kind of aspirants, to meet different type of people. Do you think everyone should consider at one point, every aspirant?
It should be considered at one point of time, because what I felt, it breaks the complexity. If I have seen many people now, another way out is like many aspirants have come up, like who have been preparing from Delhi University. So if they are already in Delhi University, they already see the experience that have been preparing, because within the universities also there are institutes or many people who have been preparing. So I think generally the complexity or the fear of the exam is broken there. So I think at one point of time it is necessary, but I don't think like we have to settle in Delhi for 2-3 years. I do not believe in that. I think we can prepare very well now from Guwahati, because all the materials are available, or even other kinds of help are available nowadays. So that would be my point. But at one point of time, it might be useful to go to Delhi.
And what do you think you did differently in your fourth attempt that you cracked with such wonderful results?
That is something, some points I have tried to think, but some points I need to reanalyze after some point. But whatever I have been doing, like I have, whenever I have got the results last time also, last time I felt I should have done a bit better. At least I should have got an interview call. I felt like that. So I have been trying to improve. At all times, my mindset has been that I have not been complacent that I have written well and UPSC for some reason, because the exam is subjective in nature. So I have not thought like that because of maybe luck I have gone down. So I have been trying to strengthen my resources. So whatever I did last time, I had read more of current affairs this time. And then I had taken one class at Dipin Sir and Forum IS there. So I have added up some from there. Then I have studied history more. I have read more books. So whatever is my aim has been to progressively improve upon whatever notes I had made earlier. So I think that has helped me, because gradually, like from the third attempt from last year, I have strengthened them much and added new notes, new examples and all. I think that has played a part. And I have been trying to incorporate such inputs from people who have been clearing the exam or who have been giving them regularly.
অসমীয়াত এটা ষ্টেটমেণ্ট, এটা কোৱা এটা আছে ন, কথা এটা আছে, এই অসমীয়া হয় নে ইংলিছ হয়, বাট মিক্স হয় বস্তুটো, যে ইয়াৰ মেটেল আছে, ই পাৰিব, ইয়াৰ মেটেল এটা আছে, এইটো what do you think, what is this metal that people look for, if how should someone introspect whether I have the metal or not, je moi UPSC crack kora metal hoy na noy, he bostutu, do you think that there is a logic behind that someone can crack the exams?
I think definitely there is some amount of logic behind it, but the logic here has more to do with the capability to work very hard. Because this is not an exam of intelligence. I think when you start preparing, I think a minimum level of intelligence is required. But generally, if I say about myself, I am not very like people who have been in IIT Bombay, computer science, etc. They may be much more intelligent than me, but that does not ensure that they will crack this exam, because this requires a different aptitude. So the major attribute I feel is like working hard continuously and not being frustrated, and having the confidence in oneself that like if I do not crack it this time, maybe I will crack it the next time. So although at times I have been also feeling low, because every human being feels like that, but inside I felt that I will be able to crack it at some point of time. that hardworking mentality, for some reason I have like grown it up like since when I was maybe 10-12 years only. I felt that if something requires hard work, that I will be able to manage probably. So I think that is the major attribute that is required.
And amid all the all the attempts, and you said I got also disheartened, what is your source of motivation for this? Or could be breaking free, could be like a travel. What kept you motivated and going?
Generally, first of all, when I fail, like I do not keep it with myself for very long. Like generally, like when I gave the last mains and like did not qualify for interview, definitely I felt low. But generally, I have a habit of giving it up. And one thing that has helped me has been like traveling also. Whenever like I finish a major exam, like I had prepared for 3 months continuously, I had given mains, then I used to travel for 5-6 days. My family and my father, mother and my brother is there, so we generally used to travel. And another thing that has helped me this time has been meditation. So like I had not thought of such kinds of things because we do not have a habit of doing it. But generally I have seen when I give the main examinations mainly, so it's like the sleep becomes irregular and the tension creeps in too much. So this time I had tried to grow a habit of like at least 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever I can in the morning. So I think it had made me a little bit calmer. Or otherwise, even if we know our performance dips a bit in the exam. So I think this too has helped me to maybe keep myself going.
Nice, really. That's a perspective I think a lot of people are not aware of. Now, Ami, Iman, heavy conversation. We've asked really like deep questions. I want to change it a little bit. UPSC clear kar episode. Now that your results are out, kitne rishte aaye?
Till now, maybe I have not been aware of any such incidents. So I will think about it, or maybe I have to.
Or maybe your parents are informed and already koi se, but you.
Maybe they have not informed me, and I have to like ask them after say 7-8 days. Maybe.
Why are you expecting a lot of people calling and saying that, huh?
I have not been thinking about it as of now, but maybe with time I will see what.
Because there are, with an examination like this, there are 2-3 different fringe effects that come. Your social media followers increase, and your you have what I would call a social presence that is created. Followers like that.
That maybe I have seen a bit like that. Like generally, although I am in social media, but generally what happens during exam time, we use it very, very less. Because otherwise our focus keeps on dwindling. I would not say I do not use it at all, but
my next question is exactly this. So it's like during your preparation, did you limit your use of Instagram and do you really believe that all this Instagram reels, all this content are distraction?
I think many people I have seen who have cleared exams are completely out of social media. I have seen people like that also. I am not completely out because sometimes a mild distraction may be a little refreshing also. But generally, the use is very limited because if we use to the extent that generally people do nowadays, that might be definitely a distraction. But limited use, I think I have been trying to maintain.
From what I also understand is that football is something that you're passionate about. Right? What's your favorite club?
I have been a Liverpool fan for long, and also uncommonly I have been a Luis Suarez fan because my friends used to call me a great Suarez fan because I had started watching football around 2012-13. Before that I had not watched. So at that time he was at the peak of his power. So I believe I have come a long way and become a fan.
Right. So as an Arsenal fan right now.
No, I like Arsenal as well, but we do not like United.
Yes, you don't like. Okay, there is a shared feeling that we have.
But Arsenal I appreciate also.
Yes, I think they've had a good season.
Yes.
All right. Now, in the pursuit of UPSC examinations or any competitive examinations, do you think physical activities and all these other hobbies that people naturally have, that kind of sometimes falls wayside?
Definitely it happens. But what I have experienced, like first 2 years I had completely locked myself up to say. I had completely, I used to stay within the room or my house for months. So I think that had a negative effect on myself. So in the last year of preparation, I had tried to socialize a bit more. Although, but the hobbies have been gone. But I have tried to run a bit on the treadmill, or sometimes meet my friends, at least once or twice in a month. So I think that at times is also necessary, because I feel I went into the case too much in the earlier attempts. So I think although the hobbies are affected, no doubt that they are affected, but if we can maintain at least 20-30% of what we used to do earlier, I think sometimes it our mind becomes refreshed, which is also necessary to maintain the focus for a long time, I feel.
And now, as we wrap up this conversation, I have one last question. Do you have something called survivor's guilt? That you have been preparing the examinations with a set of 20 people, and they may have not cleared with you, and today you have cleared. So do you think that some level, do you have a survivor's guilt?
I think the exam itself is very ruthless in nature. So when I have been preparing last 2 times, other people have been clearing. This time I have cleared. Of course, I have very good friends who I feel should have cleared, but they have not cleared, or maybe they will clear the next time. I think that is a part and parcel of life, and they cannot be done away with. Maybe if I had not cleared this time and I had completely been engrossed into the job, maybe I would not have cleared at any point of time. I think I have learned to accept those things, although I feel the exam tends to become a little unfair or little ruthless at times, I believe.
Before we call the show to a close, if you had some final parting words for the aspirants who are watching this episode today.
I think first of all, what I would be liking to share to my fellow aspirants or people who have been preparing together, that the mentality of never giving up is something that is very essential for this particular exam. So I think we should have that habit of not being too caught up or frustrated with our earlier results. I think we should move on, keep on working hard so that we can rectify our mistakes. And I think if we do that and continuously improve ourselves, at some point of time, we'll be able to crack this exam. And also people, I think, who will be liking to prepare in the future, I think if they have a habit of reading the newspapers or publications or books from an initial stage and start preparing a bit early, from early 20s maybe, I think then the success rate of people clearing the exam, particularly in Assam, which has been a bit low compared to the national standards, will improve. And I think then we can maybe get more people who have been clearing the exam continuously.
Okay guys, if you have stuck around to the end of the video, please get ready to watch the rapid fire round with Abhijnan. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm fine.
Alright, okay. Please don't take too much time. Alright. If not UPSC, then what?
I think APSC.
Who will win the Premier League?
I hope Liverpool wins it.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
The best advice you've received till date?
Keep working hard.
The worst advice you have received?
I think you should give up on the exams maybe.
Luck or hard work?
Both.
Your biggest strength?
Capacity to keep on working hard maybe.
One movie you can watch on your worst and best days?
Zindagi na milegi dobara.
Your favorite social media platform?
Now maybe Instagram, I think.
Okay then Abhijnan, for your time, I am very grateful. Thank you so much for coming and enlightening us with all your experience and your entire journey. We wish you all the very best, and I continue to maybe speak to you another time in the future.
Thank you so much. I would like to extend my thanks also to Gplus for inviting me and helping me to share my thoughts with all of the people. And it has been an opportunity for me as well. And hopefully we can also interact in the future at some point of time. Thanks.